Oh, gosh, it's already getting hot.
You're not gonna wear a bandana? You gonna play yourself?
No, I should wear it now. I'm sorry.
Gargar Binks. Everybody. Angel's stage name
I'm coming!
is
As we speak.
Gargar Binks. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Angel and Tony Show. Today, we were supposed to have a guest for this episode, but it was a good friend of mine, and unfortunately, their anxiety got the best of them, and they couldn't do it. That kind of made me think to myself, we should do an episode about that, because it's something that I have a hard time relating to, and something that Angel can very much so relate to. At first, I was kind of like making fun of my friend and like teasing him about it, and then they were like, no, it's really a thing that kind of dictates my life in a lot of ways, and when I can and can't do things, and I'm kind of at a point right now where I have to listen to it, and so it was like keeping them up at night and all these things, so I decided to just talk about it anyways and try to get a better understanding of it for myself. I think, to me, my relationship with the word anxiety is like when you're nervous about something, or like scared about a thing, or you feel like a pressure about doing a speech or something like that. And you're just like, I relate it with like being nervous. And then after just like talking to them about it, I realized that it's more than that. And I think a lot of people who don't deal with it see it as that, so they might not take it as seriously as they should. They look at it as just like nerves. And so I was gonna ask you, for you, what is your definition of it? Like, what's your relationship to that word?
I have clinically diagnosed anxiety, so it's something I go to therapy for, which I need to go back to that actually. I had the same association as you. Like growing up, it was always just nervousness. I would wake up even as a kid, from my earliest memories, waking up nervous. Like just my heart would be beating and I would be nervous. And at nighttime, it was this schedule that I had, especially during the school year. Like 10 o'clock was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 10:30 was Roseanne, and then 11 o'clock was Martin. And I was always so sad when Martin came on, because I knew I was going to sleep right after that, and then I had to start the day again. And it was like this, this like panic of...
It was a panic of ending the day or starting the day?
I think both. Just having to face the world again another day. And a lot of people might not know. I mean, I'm not sure if a lot of my peers or my classmates knew about this, but in 5th grade, I didn't go to school for a while. I actually fought my parents on going to school. I went to the school, they'd have to like drop me off and then I'd walk there, but they'd just like go drive and then go until they found out that I was like not, like I'd pretend I'm walking into the school building and I'd be like walking towards home instead. And like my mom then would like just go and drive around and come grab me. And that was my first experience with going to therapy, because that's my family took me to a therapist in 5th grade because I refused to. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you that I held on to the seat of my parents' Toyota Camry, and I was just holding on to it like this. And I remember my 2nd grade teacher, she saw what my mom was going through, and she like ran out and was like, they're like prying my hands off of like the chair.
So was it like a regular fear of just like starting school, or was it like, what was it?
It was just,
or like, what did you think it was at the time?
Just everything bad. Look, everybody's experience with anxiety is different, and I think that's why it's so difficult for people to really understand, and that's why we want to talk about these types of things, because there's different levels of anxiety and everybody handles their anxiety differently. My experience with anxiety is everything is gonna go wrong and I'm gonna die.
Dead, huh?
dead. Like, anything bad that can happen was gonna happen. I was gonna wake up, I'm gonna disappoint my teachers, I'm gonna fail this test, I'm gonna fail this assignment. No one's gonna sit like me. No one's gonna want to talk to me. No one's gonna want to hang out with me. No one wants to. It was everything that bad of an outcome is what swirled in my brain. And I remember just being mad that they were taking me to a therapist. And they let me go.
Why were you mad about that?
I don't know. I was an angry kid.
Do you think they were connected?
What?
Like being an angry kid, as you call yourself, and the anxiety?
Yeah, 100%. It's easier to be angry than to be vulnerable with like your sadness or your, it's just easier. It's a way, it's a easier outlet to accept.
When you went to the therapy, did it help?
No, I was such a bratty kid. How old are you in 5th grade?
Like 11?
So I literally can remember telling her, I don't know what you're going to tell me. You don't even know me. How are you going to tell me how I feel? I don't know what to tell you. Blah, blah, blah. Like that type of a thing.
I mean, I think anybody who knows you or sees you, or even somebody that would like do something like this on a regular basis, it kind of like doesn't fit with somebody's stereotype of like a person with anxiety.
But that's because you don't know what's going on, but like behind somebody else.
So that's what my question was going to be. Like, from then to now, what do you think has changed as far as, have you gotten better at dealing with it, or has it gone away?
No, putting that energy into something that I can fully control. That's why I was the person that always got good grades. I excelled because I put that focus into something that I can attain and something that I knew I can control. It goes the same way for my work. So like a lot of people might know me, they'll know me from the show, and I do open up, on this show and stuff, and it's been really therapeutic, to be honest. But as far as, running a business and client facing and all that stuff, I put all my energy, like that's where I channel things that.
But do you wake up with that? Because you said you were good in school, but you also said you woke up thinking you were going to like disappoint your teachers or get a bad grade or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what made me do so good, though. And that was something that I learned like literally just recently with my therapist. I was talking to her, and I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I'm like feeling that like nervous feeling that I used to always get as a kid. And she's like, yeah, it's, it's your anxiety. It's just something that you're going to have to like cope with and be able to deal with. And then she said something that literally was like, and it's such a simple thing, but hearing it from her, I was like, wow. She was like, do you think that you would be as successful as you are without anxiety? And I was like, this is a trick question. I was like, she's like, a little bit of it is healthy because it pushes you, it makes you alert, and it's what has been driving you. It's like, what if it starts, to debilitate you to do certain things where you're stuck at home, you find yourself not socializing with people or not talking to people, like that's when it becomes a problem. But if it's this thing where you're just like, and you can control it and like hone in on it to use it. And then she said the thing that blew my brain. She was like, when you have anxiety, you worry about something going wrong. What if something's going to go right? Wow.
So what do you think changed you from being that kid that was like, had to get pried off the car seat to go into school, to somebody who channeled it to like, use it as a fuel? I
don't think I realized what I was doing until I got older, though. I just think that's just kind of what I did. And it was purely for the not disappointing my elders, my parents, my godparents. I remember everybody was talking to me after the therapy session. My godparent, I was in my kitchen, and it was my parents and my godparents, and I was just sitting there, and I was zoned out, but I was like kind of tuning into them a little bit here and there, and they were saying to me, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? You have everything. We're giving you everything. Well, what is wrong with you? And then I was like, what is wrong with me? You're right. I don't know. Like, what is wrong with me? Da, 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 da. But to me, that kind of like challenged me in a sense. but also in an unhealthy way because I still wasn't fully understanding what was happening. Like, again, I just thought I was always a nervous kid. And you can ask any, like, all of my relatives growing up, they'll be like, yeah, she was a nervous kid. And then I found out later that, like, it's anxiety.
So when you were a kid and people were reacting to you and they're like, you know, what's wrong with you? And you don't know. That is where my side of it comes in, where I'm like, what can somebody like me that doesn't know what it's like do when dealing with somebody with anxiety? Because it's like with my friend, at first I was just kind of like, I'm going to make you do it. Because I looked at it as like, you're just being shy or you're just being nervous. And I was like, you're going to do it. And then it took for them to give me this long essay about why they couldn't, for me to like, then I felt bad, like, wow, I was being an ass.
Yeah.
So what's a way for somebody to like, how should somebody deal with somebody who has anxiety?
I don't think that there is a rule book or some sort of play-by-play that where every situation is the same. And I think that's the difference. Mm-hmm. You know, like, if something happened to me a few years ago and the same thing happened to you a few years ago, you might get over it quicker than I. Mm-hmm. So, like, to me, the best way to deal with anyone, not even just with anxiety or not, is just to have, like, an empathetic approach with it. And just be open to understanding something you might not understand instead of writing it off. Yeah. Now, I will say, like, are you going to run into some people that just use anxiety as, like, bullshit?
Yeah.
The answer is probably yes. You know, with mental health being such a larger topic, there's always going to be people that, you know, that, like, ruin that and use it as, like a pity party.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about that too, because we were talking about it earlier, and I was talking about how South Park did this episode where Cartman had this box that would allow him to see his phone screen. So he walked around with this box on his head so he could just always be on his phone and not talk to people or not deal with people. And he said it was because he had anxiety. And then at the end of the episode, Kyle is like, dude, everybody has anxiety. Like, it doesn't mean that you get to walk around and be a dick to people because you have anxiety. Like, everybody gets anxiety about stuff sometimes.
No, totally.
And so that point of view is a point of view that kind of goes along with what you're saying about how people kind of mainstream a terminology and then they think they can use it to just do whatever. And like, if they have a pet or something and they want to get it on a plane, they're like, oh, I have anxiety. And it's like, bro, come on. Like,
I mean, totally. I mean, like, at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that take advantage of certain things.
Yeah.
And we could be cynics about any scenario in life. We totally can. Like, we could be cynical about everything. But, like, what about the people that truly do have it and truly are opening up to you or not opening up to you and you're trying to understand them? Like, those are the people that I care about. Like, I like all those people, to be honest, that are, like, using it as something else. Because to me, there's a lot of people that live with it, and people don't talk about it because of the cynical approach to it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's one of those things. I mean, I feel like everybody with anxiety has heard all of it.
Yeah.
Dude, get over it. What are you talking? Get over it. Big deal. Like, there's people dying of starvation. You have a roof over your head. You're clothed. You have food. You have all the money in the world.
So even with that, it's like somebody like my friend is like, I can't do it because I have to listen to it when it's telling me I shouldn't do something. Like, I just have to listen to it. And my initial reaction to that was like, kind of the same thing, but it was more like, why don't you face it instead of like letting it tell you what to do? But I also feel like that's not necessarily right either.
I mean, but I see, like, but I agree with you to an extent. I think, like, it's no one else's say or decision when somebody should deal with their anxiety or how they should deal with it. Mm-hmm. It definitely should be on the individual's, terms. But do I think that you should never face it? No. I think that it's something that you do need to face and you do need to deal with so that you know how to live with it. Because it's something that you have. I mean, it's something that I have. I've had it my entire life. I wasn't properly dealing with it. I can always tell when I'm about to, like, have a thing You know? Because I would tell you, too. I'm like, God, woke up with heart palpitations. Like, you know, it's just, it becomes like a frequent thing. And usually it's just working out whatever internal emotions that I have that I've been just, you know, hoarding.
So has anybody, like, throughout your time of dealing with it, have you ever been offered, like, medication?
Yes. They've asked me if I wanted to go on medication.
How do you feel about that?
I said no. That's not my jam. For me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go on any type of medications. I'm not saying that it's wrong or it isn't. I don't know. For me, it's not. For me.
So, like, have you ever had any type of coping mechanisms? I mean, I know you used to smoke, but...
I mean, smoking was my coping mechanism for a really long time. Like, smoking was my best friend for a while. And then when I lost that, you know, now I have my dog, and my dog is my best friend. It's like, that helps me. The walks with her have helped me through that. But I think you always kind of, like, filter things through different channels. And for me, it's like when I stopped smoking, like, I just went directly to, like, food. And I think that's where a lot of my anxiety comes from. Like, my weight fluctuation and that type of a thing. And I think that's why it's been like I'm starting to get those, like, nervous things, because I know that there needs to be some sort of action or change coming. That's always how it works for me.
So you think the like coping mechanism became a thing that gave you more anxiety about that?
Yeah, it always happens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's one of those things, like you try to patch things up in unhealthy ways, and then it just it blows up, and then you're back to square one, and then now you got to get rid of 2 unhealthy things that happen. But we're all just trying to get through life.
I definitely can relate on a certain level to, like, just dealing with society and stuff like that, with being shy and stuff, because I'm not good at socializing immediately anyways a lot of the time. And so sometimes I'll read other people's anxiety as just like them being like me, just shy or like socially awkward.
Yeah.
And I think my friend, I always saw them like that, where it was like, oh, you're just socially awkward and you're nervous about it. But I was like, it's just me and Angel, you know? I'm like, it's not a big deal. Don't trip about it. But now I feel like that I know it's deeper than that. When the next time somebody's like just shy about it, or they're, you know, playing it off the way you do, when you're not like trying to tell everybody your deepest issues, it'll be a second thought for me.
Like, just rooting back to why I even wanted to do this show is because every time I found somebody online, or I saw something in a movie, or I saw an interview, or I read an article, and it was somebody that had a similar something with me, like, it made me feel less alone, and it made the anxiety less. So I feel like, you know, just communicating, you know, our own struggles and our own experiences with anxiety is super important. And I think that's something that's come with age, because, you know, I think I just would be embarrassed to talk about it before. Yeah. I think the moral to my story, and I guess my perspective, is that people just need to be open to listen to one another. And listen to one another without any sort of bias going into it. And really want to communicate with one another. I'm on human connection. Just be real with me. I will be real with you. We are not all perfect. Like, everybody's going to have their good days and their bad days. But as long as we continue to communicate with one another, then everybody's emotional intelligence will get better, and we won't be doing no more. Like, if everybody had this, like, I'm cool, I'm good. I'm cool, I'm good. Because that's usually what people do. Yeah. I mean, at least where I'm from, no one talked about their feelings like this. You weren't, you were soft. You were soft.
Yeah. It's like you're trying
so soft.
It's like you spent all this time trying to be Horde. And then...
So Horde.
And then people expect you to be like that. And then when something actually happens, you are stuck in this persona.
You literally do not have the tools to deal with certain things, because you weren't taught how to deal with certain things. we weren't really, taught on how to deal with certain types of sadness, especially sadness. And I feel like that's why it's so, people who feel sad just go quick to anger right away, or want to fight somebody, or want to, just all these things, because they don't know what to do with that emotion. I mean, anxiety especially. Anxiety can get really lonely, and that's when you kind of sink into the depression hole. Because, like, the power of relating to somebody, the power of relation is super powerful.
Do you feel like talking to somebody else with anxiety makes you feel better, or is it like, since both of you have anxiety, it's like you just both don't want to like talk?
I'm a talkative person when I'm talking to people, though.
Yeah,
I think it's different.
But about anxiety, though.
Yeah, I would totally talk to people about that now, for sure.
But like
I don't know if I would have before. I don't know, because to me, I think before I was associating this with weakness. Mm-hmm. I ain't trying to be real weak at nah. When you get older, you realize understanding your emotions and being open and empathetic to other people's emotions it makes you strong. It doesn't make you weak.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was always quick to just like roast people all the time. Like, that was my thing, and it was a defense mechanism of my own. And now I think I feel a lot stronger when I can approach something from like a way of putting myself in their shoes,
a way of understanding,
or like empathizing with somebody else. Like, it makes me feel like more gangster than just like somebody talking shit about it.
Dude, I feel the same exact way. But yeah, I mean, to go back and answer your question, no, I love it. I love talking to other people, just relating to them. I love relating to people.
Yeah,
I love like learning things from new people and just connecting. Because that's what it's all about, is just connecting. So I do hope that, your friend is able to, like, cope and deal with that however he or she would like to deal with it. Because I think that's all it's about, is just channeling it to a positive outlet. And I think that, for me at least, right now, I think I'm at a crossroads of like healthy and unhealthy ways of dealing with my anxiety. So, and that's normal, and I'm not ashamed to say that whatsoever. So I think getting back on my therapy train and just working that out, and then figuring out how I can get rid of most of my unhealthy ways, I can, get back on this prosperous road.
Moving forward.
Well, moving forward. Yeah.
This has been a fantastic and very educational conversation. If you guys have ever experienced anxiety, or you got any more things you want to tell me, because I'm looking for enlightenment right now, feel free to put that in the comments. And don't forget to like and comment, describe. You want to subscribe, there we go.
Not describe. If you want to describe, you can describe how awesome our shirts are in the comments.
Wow.
Animaniacs. Thank you for everybody watching. We really do appreciate you guys.
Our long vacation gave us enough time to rest our brain and come up with a lot more cool ideas and topics. So
yes, we have a lot of things coming.
I gotta go to Chicago real quick, but when I get back, we're gonna be coming in hot.
Hot.
Real hot.
Hot like the sweat underneath this sweatband.